Good evening and welcome back to Bakes Takes. It's good to be back with you guys. As this fantasy regular season winds down and nearly all of your assignments have been turned in, I wanted to let you all know where your grades stand as we enter these last few weeks of the semester. First up is while incompetence is nothing new for Pool Draw 240, it does seem this incompetence has finally caught up to him. Sitting at last place in the standings, being the only team yet to reach 1,000 points through 12 weeks, both the present and future look pretty bleak for this team. Right now, it is just not a serious outfit or operation. I think it might be time to take a serious look in the mirror on how this team has been managed. Because of this, he has received a grade of. Through tactful moves and savvy roster management, Random Football Club has found a way to be the number one scoring team in the league since November 19th. He has done this all while not having a snap played by his number one overall pick, Christian McCaffrey. In addition, he has set himself up well for next year with a lot of draft picks going into the 2025 season. Because of this, he has received a grade of. Naked and Kincaid has had a wild ride of a year, having been part of 5 blockbuster trades. While I do not have much issue with how he has managed this dumpster fire of a year, he has bled his roster pretty dry and poetically might end up being a large contributor to the Moneyball Fund. Because of this, he has received a grade of. Your defending champions have had a long, hard, tough, miserable, forgettable, hard to swallow year. They were able to part with all their pieces and ended up in a good spot for next season. However, they waited till the last moment to make trades, so perhaps did not get top dollar for their investments. Despite this, they are set up well for the 2025 season and have yet to fall victim to the Moneyball rule. Because of this, they receive a grade of. Perhaps the toughest team to grade this year was Enterprise Rent-A-Player. He had a very aggressive year, starting the season off with those rental trades, which built up some draft capital. However, he spent all that and then some by building a very formidable team at the trade deadline. Only issue is he is on the fringe of the playoffs. If he misses out on the playoffs while giving up a first-round pick in the process, it could be a tough season for this year and next year for Jared. However, he does have a nice team in place where if he does make the playoffs, he could all of a sudden have a Cinderella run to the championship. Because of this, he receives a grade of. While Keep Pounding has a nice little team in place, his continued passiveness at the trade deadline will loom large. He'll either end up being one of the first teams in or last teams out of the playoffs and just simply will not have enough firepower to make a run to the championship. He will continue to be a middling team here in this league for the past, present, and future until he learns to be more aggressive at the deadline to make something happen, make something of himself, make something of his team, and make everyone proud to be a Keep Pounding player. As a small market team out in Austin, Texas Pipeworks has put together a surprisingly good season. They currently sit at 7-5 and are right there in playoff contention. Given the fact that any success from this team is truly head turning, I will give them a grade of. Dog-ass competitors were reluctant to make the big moves needed at the deadline to turn their team into a true contender. Right now, they are good enough to once again not win the championship this year. They will be right there on the cusp of the playoffs and will be destined for mediocrity for years to come until this manager learns to act, behave, and make moves like a winner. Alvin and the kids has put together one of the strongest running back rooms in recent history with perhaps the best player on the planet right now in Saquon Barkley. They are layered well with talent at quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, and is my sleeper pick right now to win the title. You heard that correct. Because of this, Alvin and the kids receives a grade of. Nate is without a doubt one of the top teams in the league this year, and I think it would surprise nobody if he took home the victory towel. Having said that, and having preached aggressiveness with other grades in the past, I do believe he was a little too active at the deadline for my taste. His lineup was ready to win now, whether he made the trades he did or not, and I believe he mortgaged a little too much of the future for this year. We'll see if it pays off and he's able to bring home the title. If not, it could be a long year next year for him, just for that slight improvement on the roster this year. Because of that, he'll receive a grade of. The Albany Bogeymen once again find themselves at the top of the standings and are primed to make another playoff run. They were able to get key contributors at a fair market value at the deadline, and I believe their continued success is a testament to the practices and people and culture they have in place. Because of this, they receive a grade of. Monrovia Mart Fan Club currently finds themselves as the #1 team in the standings. That is no small feat given the arms race that took place at the trade deadline. However, when you look at the top 4 teams, that is Andrew, Luke, Ty, and Nate, one of those teams does not look like the rest, and I'm afraid that that early season success and that early season record from Luke has lulled him into a sense of belonging. We'll see if the Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, Bucky Irving led team can make their way all the way to the championship. However, I'm afraid that it is not going to go the way he wants, and he has spent all this year thinking about win now, when he should be thinking about win later, because he simply doesn't have what it takes this year to get it done. He could prove me wrong. He will be in the playoffs. Once you get into the playoffs, anything can obviously happen, but I'm sitting here right now stating my claim. I believe that I like Nate's team more, Ty's team more, and Andrew's team more, but we'll see how it shakes out. Because of this, he receives a grade of. Again, this is simply where your grade stands right now. We do have 3 more weeks of class plus a final exam to see where you will end up. However, wanted to give a brief update for each team on where you currently stand and what needs to be worked on going into this home stretch. Play well.